Welcome back to New Terra Nochsta. Today, I've got a bit of a progress update, and I'm going to do a bit of caving, which I think should be fun, and I also want to just talk a bit about what the heck is this series, because I've never actually told that to you guys, and I think it's probably, we're on the second episode, but it was all the prologue stuff. It's about time we actually went over the basics of what I'm actually doing here, and what you're expecting to see. So, hopefully by now you've got a bit of a picture already, but that's what we're going to talk about. So first of all, been doing some work around at Camp Firma, and been nearly ready to a point where we can start bringing the rest of the crew ashore. So you probably noticed I've got a little, if I can remember how to steer a boat, it's been a while, little dock pier thingamajig I can stick my boats up to. I know they're working on, for the next update of Minecraft, overhauling boats a bit and making them less derpy. Suggestion, make it so you can tie leads to them and tie them up to things. But yeah, so a little bit of a dock we've built. This camp's the same, the campfire, still cook things. Oh, that's right, I was going to grab that fish, wasn't I? Especially for our actions. Mr. Bones is standing around, and Butch. You'll notice we have a building over here. This is Camp Firma Lodge. First actual proper building, and this is just an expanded version. Because the tent has got 2 beds, it's fairly cramped, it's not really. Firma Lodge, Camp Firma Lodge. It's the lodge at Camp Firma where we stay. And nice little kitchen area, got a fireplace which you can cook things on that as well. You can cook up your food, you've got a little bench for Gurgle, I guess, to do the cooking. And upstairs we've got a bunch of beds for everyone. Little roof access. If you want to get on your roof and survey the scenery, you can see Shark Food Island over there. That's that name is in reference to Banjo-Kazooie. It's the second level in that is Treasure Trove Cove, and there's a tiny little island called Shark Food Island, and it's got a crazy weird secret thing associated with it. But anyway, that particular tiny little bit of sand poking up out of the sea reminded me of it, so that's why I called it that. And there is actually a sign on there, which you might have seen me place last episode, but you can't see it from this distance because Minecraft. So that's that. There's Camp Firma Lodge. We've got a bit of a path. I like this idea with the door. You use these acacia doors to be like sort of your security screen. That's kind of cool. And if you're working with villages, it counts as 2 houses as well, kind of a bonus. I've got it. Really, Oscar? Not Oscar, Aussie. Similar name. Well, Aussie's generally short for Oscar anyway. Didn't think about that. Yeah, furnace. Cooked up some clay. I've stuck a cauldron on top, sort of be like a crucible or whatever for smelting iron. So the campfire and the fireplace in there I'm not really going to use for smelting because it doesn't feel right. But I've done this and this to make it feel a bit more like a place I can justify doing that. So this path leads to our waterhole, which is the same one I believe I showed you finding on the last episode. Got a little bit of a bridge now to get across the water. Nice and simple. Also want to be careful with all these bridges to make sure there's enough room to sail a boat under. Because, like, on the end of, I don't have the map with me, but you might have seen this, on the end of the cape, that's the branches off into a lot of little islandy bits. So I kind of want to keep them connected, but also able to sail around if I want. This actually is joined by a sandbar to the kind of more mainland bit, but it's a bit tricky to get around there. So a little path, and chopping down some trees, some spruce trees. I found some spruce trees around behind Mount Orion, which is that huge mountain we found last episode. And yeah, brought some saplings back, so I started growing a little bit there. So here's our waterhole. Wondering if in the future we might try build a well or have some kind of pump to help us get water. I always do that when I'm pointing around things. I shake the thing around, which it's kind of like, trying to do gestures towards the thing, but does that get annoying? Over here, just a little watchtower outpost near the waterhole. Doing it again. Yeah, just a little thing. You can see Shark Food Island again. You can see just off in the distance, you can see the Battalia. It's kind of nice. And yeah, you can see a little sandbar kind of isolates this patch of the island, or this branch from the rest of the land, and that goes around to around there. There's a kind of a bay I haven't named yet, and then behind that there's the next bay is Flora Bay, which is completely surrounded by flower forests, and then there's some mountains behind that, and it looks really cool. So that's a bit of an update. That's about all I've built so far. I've got some plans of things to build. Oh, well, I didn't show you. I've got it on that island, I think. Yeah, it's that one. That's my telescope. I've got a tiny little bit of a farm set up where I've been growing some pumpkins and a little bit of wheat just to get kind of started. But I want to build a proper farm eventually over, probably further in the mainland where there's a bit more space and I can get closer to other places like Mount Orion. I'm going to set up some mines there later. Whew. So, yeah, and I'll have to figure out how to make this road go around over this hill. I think I need to name this hill as well because it's fairly important. It kind of cuts us off from the rest of the mainland. Well, not cut us off, but you have to go over it, or you can go a little bit around it, but not really. So, anyway, as I said, I don't want to do a bit of caving because I haven't really done a lot. I haven't found any proper caves, just a few tunnels near the tops of mountains. And while I was exploring on this island over here, which I haven't decided a name for, I think I want to call it something like Boomerang Island, or maybe Crescent Island, or Croissant Island, just because the shape of it looks like those things from certain angles at least. Or possibly Mushroomy Island, because I found a lot of mushrooms here. But anyway, while I was over here, I discovered there is a cave. Where is it? Over here. I left a torch post. And it looks like quite a deep one. And I'm excited to record that because I haven't actually done any caving on with these special generation settings, which, well, I guess we're about to talk about. I should actually make a ladder. I need to be prepared. So, as I said, generation settings. What is New Terra Nochsta actually about? Obviously it's a world, and it is basically my new single player world. I'm going to switch those. Actually, I don't really need the telescope down in here. And there's some things you probably already noticed. Wow, this is kind of huge. Yeah, I like. You might have noticed there's some things I'm doing a bit differently already. Obviously the whole starting out with a shipload of stuff. A shipload, I did say that. Here's some zombies. Got to talk and cave at the same time. Oof. And think about where I'm caving. Oops. Yeah, so I started out with a few basic supplies, but I strategically and managed to do it in a way fitting with the plot, cut out some of the more renewable resources, so at least I have to work to get them again. And we made it, you know, kind of interesting and humorous that, oh, we lost the seeds and we had to eat the carrots and potatoes. So what I'm doing in this world I'm doing differently from how I might normally play Minecraft is I'm doing it more story driven. As we've seen, we've kind of got a feeling and a meaning behind the things. I'm trying to stick to not rules so much. Ooh, this was a bit of a silly place to come across. Can I get back? Yeah, we can. Just guidelines, like I said. I've got the campfires and I don't want to actually smelt ore on them because it's just supposed to be for cooking. And like I decided I set up that thing with the cauldron for doing the actual smelting. And so I'm doing things like that, trying to make it not just jumping ahead and mining out a big section of the ground, but waiting until it flows from the story. It feels like it's naturally done and ready. And, you know, maybe doing some extra work before doing things like that. And yeah, trying to build the story of the world around it. So instead of just going straight on and building the epic redstone contraption, think about what we need to prepare for that. And as such, as you noticed, I've named a lot more landmarks as well, because one thing I noticed is that a lot of the time, I mean, I do it, other people do it, or don't do it rather, is naming landmarks. Like, you read like a book like Robinson Crusoe or any book about a bunch of castaways on an island, and you know what do? fairly soon on, when they realise they're going to be here for a while, they name all the landmarks. They name their mountains and name that bay, that beach. In Minecraft, people generally don't do that very much, and it suddenly hit me that why don't they? You know, got a mountain here, why not give it a name? Make it feel like it has a purpose. It makes your world, sorry Aussie, just feel that more interesting and alive when, instead of just, you know, got this biome of stuff to get to. And then here's the interesting part, if you give each thing a name and a meaning, it makes it more interesting. So that's what I've been doing. Like I said, we've got a glitch where we can see through the world. We've got, you know, Flora Bay, Salvation Cape, Camp Firma. All these things have names so far, and I want to give names to more things. I don't want to go overboard and just name everything instantly. I kind of want to, you know, wait till it has a bit of a story or some meaning behind it. This is a lot of coal. I might not need this much coal, but I might as well get a full stack. So that's kind of one of the guidelines and ideas I've been working on, is naming things. The other thing, well, one of the other things, there's actually a lot of things are going into this series, this world, and one I briefly mentioned is the custom terrain generation. Oh, yeah, I finally get those achievements. Which you may have noticed, some things look a bit different. Not wholly different. Well, heck, the size of this vein of coal is one thing. So what I've tried to do, first of all, in order to give sense to the story that we came here by ship, the sea level's a bit higher, and I've tried to make it more like bigger oceans kind of surrounding continents. If you look on a map of the whole area, it's not actually that, like, you kind of follow the channel where we came from, and it's like, well, there's a dead end there, how did we come there from, you know. And if you want to add, you know, figure out actual story reason for how that could be, you can say, well, we kind of went through some weird cross-dimensional portal out in the middle of some weird limbo-type ocean place that was actually endless, which it was. It was a separate world, which was done with super flat, so it was literally endless ocean. And obviously, as we stated, the ship wasn't really moving, and, you know, that was all just the role-play aspect, which, along with the storytelling, is kind of a thing I'm adding to this. Well, it's part of the storytelling, is you know, sometimes being in character, like I did during the prologue. I was, you know, kind of made up things, like when the Enderman appeared, I pretended that I had no idea what it was, and that was kind of based on the idea, you know, we've come from this great empire, country, nation of Terra Nochsta, and, you know, we don't really see Endermen around because we've kind of taken control of the overworld, and I mean, yeah, sure, we might have our ender farm secretly, but that's kind of off in the industrial, where the general public doesn't know about. So, how am I going to proceed from here? This is nuts. Might go, actually, back up here. Actually, I might... Can I get that ladder? So, things like that. And, yeah, I did it, like, during the prologue, obviously, there were some scripted things, like, you know, especially in the first episode, how I had to find that the seeds were all damaged and stuff, but I kind of also did that other, you know, stuff where I did improvise, like with the Enderman and things like that, to work on the story. And yeah, so got a bit off topic there, but I was talking about the custom generation. So in addition to the larger seas, I've generally tried to make the world larger in general, more or less generally. Maybe if I dig across to there, might be best. Look at the size of this cave. Is that I don't even think this is a ravine. It doesn't look like a ravine. So yes, I've also, yeah, tried to make, I just said, the world larger in general. Particularly like mountains and things. Like Mount Orion, if you remember. I didn't show it much. It was just a little clip at the end of me jumping off, and that one clip where I had found it, or first seen it. But there is Mount Orion, and there's lots of other mountains around there as well. Haven't seen a lot of different biomes. It's mostly just foresty stuff and some mountains and some swamp. I should not just stick these torches on the ground. I like having them not just on the ground. I've been, like, everywhere up on the surface at least, where I've stuck torches down, I've put them on these acacia fences, which are limited supply, because we haven't found any savannas where you get acacias. So yeah, Again, I started out with a chest full of logs. And for all the chests, to make them feel a bit more full, but not actually being overpowered with resources, and to make it a little more interesting, like I had them all filled up with just single items instead of stacks. So it was only nearly a stack of acacia logs that I started with. And no saplings, because we worked that into the story, that bilge leak or whatever. Anyway, back on topic. So, yeah, try and... partially inspired by the amplified terrain that you can do as a feature. But the thing I don't like about amplified is that everything is just amplified, and it becomes, you have all these epic mountains and stuff, and it's really cool, but it's all like that, and it loses its speciality. So what I've tried to do with these settings that I've used is make the world, you know, enhance the mountains a bit, make them feel bigger and more real-sized, whilst not just over-dominating everything. So it's a bit hard to figure out the settings, and they're a bit weird to work with, but I managed to get something, and I'm very happy with it, what I've seen so far in this world. It's, you know, just looking around, and even, you know, forget about what it actually is, just the fact that it's something different and new. It's like exploring, it's like a whole new game, sort of, in the sense that, you know, it's finding things all out again. It's like, oh, what do mountains look like in this? And now I'm finding out what caves look like with these settings. I'm not sure if that is a ravine. It might actually be. It's hard to even tell, and because I'm not sure if the caves got a bit expanded as well. And I don't need to mine all the coal. So yeah, things are a bit bigger. The other thing, as we said, you notice that coal pocket of ore, and even some of the ore, like the lapis I found way high up before. What's with that? I've obviously adjusted the spawning of resources, and ores specifically, to a point where they're on different levels. For starters, like iron, you find it higher up, but not as low down. Because normally in vanilla, well, this is still vanilla Minecraft, you know, normal terrain generation, you know, you just, if you want to mine, you go down to like the lava level and just mine there, because there's everything. So what I'm trying to do, and this is based on some of the times I played some modded Minecraft, is that a lot of those mods, you know, you don't find all the ores at all the levels, or all of them at the bottom. So what I've done here, again, iron, you can find it higher up, but you don't really find it lower down. Same with gold, is a bit lower down than iron, but it's not all the way down, and things like that. Beautiful lapis. Again, I don't want to mine it without Fortune 3. I need to stick to my roots. Can't just become a man who doesn't care about lapis anymore. Even if it is silly. So yeah, things like that. Lapis, most of the ores as well, I've tried to make it so their veins are not as common, but they're bigger. So like we saw, the coal vein is pretty huge. Some things I've done differently, like the lapis and the redstone, and also these other special stones, the andesite, diorite and granite. I've done kind of the opposite, where they're more common, but they're tiny little pieces. But most of them, I want it to make it like, finding them is a bit rare. You don't find iron all the places, but when you do find it, you find a lot, sort of thing. Which kind of makes it more interesting to look for, and, you know, I guess there's a bit more realism in that respect too, because that's kind of how real life works. You find big veins of things, but they're few and far between. Some things I couldn't do as much with, like diamonds, I couldn't actually make it any more rare, because it already is a one attempt per chunk, and you can't do less than one. You have half numbers, because that's not how arithmetic works. But so diamonds actually just come in bigger pockets, about twice the size, and I don't care about being a little bit overpowered in some respects because of the other different focuses I'm working on. Now really, how big is this cave? Now if it's being normal mode, I'd probably just jump in there and look and stuff, but again, I'm trying to take it slowly and experience what have I done with this world. So yeah, ores are a bit different in those sorts of respects. I think that other cave should be through here. And again, like with the whole role-playing restriction things, I'm trying to do less just tunneling, especially not on the surface. Like when I wanted cobblestone, that was a pain, because I don't think this actually goes where I want it to go. But I didn't want to just, you know, dig a big hole, because, oh, it's actually just thicker. I see the gold. I want the gold. also have in mind maybe building some wooden platforms and things, but I don't know. So yes, that's, I guess, most of the terrain generation. The other thing, which we're finally getting to, that I'm doing differently in this world, is fancy... Whoa! Falling to my death and being dumb, apparently. But fancy command block stuff. I mean, we've seen a little bit, like I did in the beginning with the boats. I mean, all through the whatchamacallit, the prologue parts. Well, obviously, like, particularly on the scripting stuff, that was a bit different, and obviously I got some fancy stuff like this telescope, even Ella with a knockback, and the Aqua Infinity and Luck of the Sea, which do nothing for me, but makes it kind of funny. So things like that. All of my villages have special trays that give me some special things like that, which we've seen a little bit of in the prologue. So that's it. And the other, I want to get onto... I don't want to, like, just replace everything I do with command block stuff, but yeah, I do have commands enabled, and I will be using them for some things. I don't want to go overpowered, but I want to build some cool machines that do interesting things that sort of fit with the world. I'm going to limit how I do them to a place where it seems to feel right, gives me an advantage that makes sense in the game, and things like that. And that feels reasonable, and I'm going to use my best judgment to how to do that. And, like, trying to think of some good examples I can give without spoiling it too much. Well, one thing, like, we've got that redstone beer stuff. I want to make a machine that will make that, and it'll actually take different resources along the way, and, like, you'll add in raw redstone, and you'll have to, I don't know what you have to do, but at least go through several step process, and it'll produce bottles of redstone beer, which are, you know, they're, as a potion, they give you a bunch of fancy features for a little bit. And they're not like super overpowered features, but it's a little bit of a bonus for a little bit of a while. And they add to the roleplay aspect, of course. And so another thing I've been thinking about is, like, for example, a blacksmith building where I might have a furnace for smelting, obviously. And one of the, like, a more graphical thing used for command blocks would be just have a bellows that I can push, and it makes a whoosh sound, and maybe flames spurt up out of the furnace to make it cool. And then I thought I could have an effect like it makes smelting faster, which actually using the... Wow, I've got so much iron. The tile entities of furnaces is actually going to be a bit trickier than would be nicer. Like, I can... Pretty much the only thing I can do without accidentally possibly breaking it, because you can't just add values and things, you have to just set them. I could make it so it instantly finishes smelting whatever it does. I don't quite like that because I don't want it to be entirely instant, but what I could do is get lost in a cave. What I could do is make it so it fully consumes whatever fuel you've got in there, which I don't also like because it has no way of being able to check what fuel is in there. So, for example, you know, it's reasonable to say, yeah, if you got a little bit of fuel, but if you got a whole piece of coal in there or anything, again, it's hard to work with, so I'll have to figure out a compromise. But things like that sort of nature. And I'm thinking of some extra fancy spells. One thing I want to make is, eventually, is some... Well, I want to build an enchantry, which, just a setup for enchanting, I guess, really, but I want to build especially super powered one where I can make special customized enchantments and abilities on things. And one thing, is that other cave we found before? It is. Well, I think this must be a ravine. It just looks wider and rounder than ravines normally do. So one thing I want to make with the enchantry is some path treader boots, which will be like boots that you can wear, and when you wear them wherever you walk, it turns the ground into path. So it would turn like dirt into randomly coarse dirt or gravel, and different types of blocks I'd program in there to do. So yes, I should mention another bonus side effect of the whole raised ocean level is, of course, the fact that, what can I throw out here, that the world is a lot deeper. So from the surface down to the lava level is a lot further as well, which has made this caving even more interesting. There you go. So as far as enchantress goes, I've got my special golden earth renders that I started out with, which are basically pickaxes that insta-mine, and it's like when you have a efficiency 5 and haste 2 beacon, but it's just in a pickaxe itself. And I've started out, I think, 9 of them just on board the ship, and they'd be a pretty expensive thing to make. So again, for this special enchanting process, I'd have to think of a way to do it, you know, fancy machines, pistons and doodads, and maybe some other just special effects, just to make it seem reasonable. To, you know, create something so overpowered. So that's what I'm going with. I'm playing around with command blocks and some other features, trying to add to the world to make it more interesting, more alive, more, you know, story-based, role-playing based. Blaced. I just said blaced. That's a silly thing to say. Blaced isn't a word. Don't say blaced, people. Partly some inspiration I've been getting lately from Etho in his modern Minecraft series, and he's doing, I guess in some ways, a similar kind of thing, building a world with different characters, and he's got his different villages that have their interactions and stuff. And so that's kind of interesting to see that he's got similar ideas. Of course, he's doing it with modded Minecraft, and I'm doing it all vanilla. That's not even... Wait, what did I drop? I dropped gold. Did I drop gold? Yeah, there it is. Right, I was going to say that's gravel, but no, that was the gravel I dropped earlier. So that's kind of an inspiration, and at the same time kind of a kick in the face. It's like, and because I have this custom NPC mod, I can have these NPCs that do all these interesting things, as opposed to my derpy NPCs which fall overboard and scream that they're drowning. They do the most useful things off camera. And I said, and you know, Octoderp suggested this, and blah 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 blah. That slime just jumped in lava. And with my NPCs, should mention, like, you know, again, they don't really do much, but they do have their special potion effects. Yeah. So there's plenty of diamonds down here. I don't want to mine them all. Again, I want to wait till I can get Fortune 3. There's lots of diamonds down here. Maybe I don't need to worry about that. But yeah, my NPCs, you know, they do have regen effects, so obviously if they take a bit of damage. There was that weird trading game thing, which was... Because when you fish a villager overboard, and the ship counts as a village, you get negative points with the village, because they think you're hurting them. And then your iron golem starts to attack you. So then you know, you make them happier by trading, but then I thought, what if there's nothing I particularly want to trade? And actually, I think I might have invented that idea before I even actually gave them specific trades for interesting things. But, yeah. So I made a thing so I can trade, and I thought, well, how does this fit the story? Let's make it like, make up some kind of game to pass the time. I thought we were playing catch with things, or what would you do? You play cards, and I thought, yeah, trading cards. So they each got their banner that, well, each of the adult villages, Big Jim doesn't have any because you can't trade. Obviously all the non-villager things don't, but that's making it a bit more interesting. And I really only had to do it that once. I don't know if I'll have to do it in the future because they won't be jumping overboard so much, but hey. What am I going to do now? I've got a bunch of gold. Where do I want to head? I need to think of a plan. I'm too busy talking. I'm not really thinking much about what I'm doing. But yes. I guess what I can mention now is, obviously I've talked about how I'm playing, and I should mention I do have potential ideas of eventually turning this into a multiplayer thing and inviting other colonists from the homeland to come and settle here as well. Possibly, I don't know, might not be for a while, depends how much interest there is. I'd probably mostly be doing it with people I know, either from playing before on other servers or people I know from real life who are interested. If there is any interest, let me know. I don't know how soon I'll be doing that. Obviously, you know, you have to try and stick with the rules and the theme I'm going. You know, it won't be quite like a normal multiplayer server, but I still want to do fun stuff and do pranking and other collaborative stuff as well. In that regard, if I do add other people, they probably won't have access to the commands that I can do. Like, I can come over to their place, obviously, and set up, if you want, a device or a machine or some special effects. I think it's reasonable, but I probably won't just give people the responsibility of handling it themselves in case they accidentally break the world. So there's that. There's a potential thing in the future. It'll make it a bit more awkward when I want to edit or make changes to the world, I guess. Because it's harder to just take down a file and edit it than I can. Which I've had to do a few times. Also, that's the other thing I was going to mention back when I was talking about NPCs, and I am generally going to be doing it so that, you know, once they die, that's it. With a few exceptions. Like, I think Grom actually died the other day after I was done recording, and I don't know quite how, I wasn't around, but so I don't know if he glitched out or managed to get killed by zombies. If they attack him repeatedly enough, they can, but he does have regen and resistance, so they are fairly well off. But I did spawn him back in, and the reason for that, obviously, well, the reasoning is, again, what fits with the story. And I wasn't at a point in the story where I was ready to not have him available, really. So, in that regards, there is a little bit of plot armor, as a sense that, you know, this is an important character, you know, he's not going to die. What was over that way? I didn't go that way, did I? Looks all dark. But once I get to a spot where I feel it's reasonable, I'm not going to do such cheating death things like that. Some things like, a little bit after that, I accidentally fed Ella to Ozzy. And obviously I don't want to be without Ella, unless I legitimately lose her. So, yeah, I just copied her back in. But, yeah, and things like that are a little bit tricky to work with, because most things you can do with commands, but what you can't do is the custom colours, because you can't paste those in. Let's just talk about mods, because as I've said, this is all vanilla Minecraft, and obviously we do command block things, but I'm not doing mods, really, at all. And I guess the thought behind that is I could make a diamond pickaxe, couldn't I? Yeah, I'll just make iron for now, that'll be fine. I do need to make a diamond pickaxe so I can get obsidian, so I can make an enchanting table, so I can make a fortune 3, so I can reasonably get additional diamonds and stuff. Yes. What was I talking about? The idea of mods. So, I've thought about using mods and stuff, or just a few special mods that I think would work well with this. And I've decided I generally don't want to, just because this is about, I guess, all the extra command block stuff, and I'm trying to explore what you can do, and, the custom terrain, that stuff that's in the vanilla game that people don't often use a whole lot. So I'm just trying to make the most out of Minecraft as it actually already is. So I don't want to add new features. I have thought about doing some mods that add graphical enhancements, though, potentially. Like, I considered, like, the shaders. I don't think I'm going to be adding shaders, if only for the fact that I don't think my computer would handle it very well. But they do make the world a bit more interesting, and I don't know how well they fit with this texture pack and stuff like that, and whether I'd really like them or not. More lapis that I might never mind, because I might never come back here again, but I'm leaving in the off chance I do once I've got fortune. I'm a bit silly sometimes. One mod I have, well, I don't know if there is actually such a mod, but there probably is, would be, that I have considered that would be reasonable, is one that makes the clouds higher in the sky, because particularly with my raised sea level, so they're closer to the ground anyway, and I would like to have a bit more free space with my, extended higher mountains and stuff. Also, I think it would be nice if I could make the clouds higher. So if there is a nice mod like that, I might consider installing that. But again, in general, I'm not doing mods because this is about seeing what we can do with the stuff that's already in vanilla Minecraft that people don't normally bother with. So that's where I'm going. So, that's right, I remember the other thing I was going to talk about. A very disjointed conversation, this. But I was going to discuss videos. What are you guys going to see out of all this? This is how I'm playing, what are you going to see? and a few different things. Generally, you know, I work full time. I don't have a lot of time to devote to making videos. It's a side thing I do as a hobby. I don't have a lot of time to work on Minecraft in general, so I'm planning. Probably, as far as timing goes, there generally won't be more than one episode in a week. Because I generally will do... Ow. I generally get shot by skeletons. I could make more armor one of these days. That might be sensible. I was going to make some torches, that's right. Ah! I'm a bit distracted by being shot in the face. So, as far as timing goes, don't expect more than one a week generally. And to be fair, the rate my videos accrue views, it's not worth making more than that generally, because often, you know, I get to a spot where I'm ready to release the next one and, oh, no one's actually watched the previous one. Maybe I'll just wait. Which, you know, that's fair enough. I'm a tiny channel with not a lot, so I think it's fair enough. And I think that makes, you know, don't bother putting more videos out people are willing to watch, because otherwise you get to the end and there's just so many videos out there, people don't bother to watch them all. Now I don't have anything to make a sword out of. Should have made the pick out diamond. Oh well. So, for those reasons, yeah, again, it's not really worth me trying to make more often videos, but again, sometimes I do in batch. Anyway, we spent all that time talking about content, and it's probably been ages now. So, again, some videos might be sort of storytelling, where some of them are more scripted, like the last part of the prologue. Words are escaping me. Where I did, you know, I kind of scripted the whole thing. I had things, I did multiple takes to make sure I got it right, and things like that. But I might do some more like, I guess the other 3 that ended up being episodes of the prologue. Originally I'd planned to sort of just do one prologue and include that all in it, but gee, how time flies when you're playing, and yeah, I don't know quite, underestimated time. Anyway, so it might be more like that, where I'm still acting in character, and kind of improvising a story based on me playing. Sometimes it might be just, you know, me, well, like a normal Let's Play type stuff, like me building, or do more of a talky one like this one, and do some caving or something tedious while I talk about some ideas. I don't know what else there would be to talk about, because I'm talking about it all today. But things like that, or, you know, general Let's Play stuff like just building, or sometimes it might just be a tour of what have I gotten up to this week or these last 2 weeks when I've been playing. Or, you know, again, I'm doing some with some of, I should stick these torches more on the walls, or at least on posts. I'm being pedantic. More coal than I need right now. Yeah, so... Was there anything I covered? Or didn't cover? That covers it. So, videos might vary a bit. Again, I'm planning to, you know, this is me playing. I'm going to be playing, kind of doing my own thing in my own time, but if there's anything particularly extra awesome I want to try and do, yeah, I'll video that. Or, you know, if I've got an interesting bit of story, I'll try and keep the videos to more storytelling, making the interesting parts, things like that. We'll try and do in videos. I think I must be near the surface, because I heard a chicken. Yes, I kind of am going with a rule that in order to use my F3 I need to have a compass and a clock, because those are sort of things used for navigation, and that way it feels less cheaty. So again, I'm trying to have restrictions on things I do. So I'm at height 64. This is where, in a regular world, the sea level would be. So yeah, that's 70 something I think in the end. I was trying to make it higher, but then the world just got too broken up. I think I'll try and head mostly back to the server. I got loads of iron, wow. That's right, let's swim back up this wall. Thankfully, these sailor boots have Depth Strider 1 on them. It's not as good as Depth Strider 3, but still pretty good. And I got a few spare pairs, and I can repair these. And the Feather Falling Fire is pretty good too. So, and yeah, baking, they last a while. Where? No, this is not. Okay, I'm officially lost. I'm very good at getting lost in caves. I didn't come from MacLeod. So, where did I come from? I don't know. That's crazy. Oh, well, I guess, like I said, the sea isn't high above us, but we get sandstone. Yeah, it's a beach here, so that would explain sandstone. Wait, no, that water. I was just wondering if that water flowed from the sea, but I don't think it does. Oh, I really am genuinely lost right now. Did I come from down this way, maybe? Is that it? Is that the secret? But seriously, look at the size of these coal blocks. I like it. You know, it's a bit, you know, overpowered compared to normal play, but I'm doing lots of things extra fancy compared to normal play, so I don't mind if I get... What's with the seeing through world glitches? I don't mind if there's, you know, a bit more resources in normal play. It's about, you know, this world. What's this world like? And so far from my exploration around the surface, it has made it interesting. Made it interesting. To the point, you know, I've enjoyed actually exploring just even the little things of the scenery. Like this one little bay, big mountain. Suddenly all that becomes... I don't know if it's so much that it is more interesting, or if it is just that it's new and different than what we're used to. But it has... Here we are. It's made it a lot of fun. And yeah, that's what this is about. Making Minecraft, doing vanilla stuff, but exploring the possibilities of vanilla that people don't often bother with. And making it more interesting and more alive and things like that. That's where I found that first diamond. Right, or is that a... Yeah, that is that one. Okay, I'm going to navigate my way back to the surface. If I can. Where did I come down? Ow! These bone men. At least I'm getting achievements now. Yeah, so... Oh, there's a big silence. Well, it's daylight outside. I wonder how many days I've been down here for. And whether I'm going to have to cut some out of this episode. I hope not. I do want to keep them around, you know, reasonably 20-minute sort of time. But I imagine it's probably been more like half an hour. My imagination is... I generally underestimate things, and it's probably been like 45 minutes or something silly like that. And I'll feel bad. I could split this into 2 parts. But I don't really feel that's necessary. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I'm going to figure out my way up to the surface, but I'll bid you guys farewell. Or possibly you guy, if it might... Quite likely only be one person who's actually watching this. That's my life. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my very rambly episode, but I guess it's rambling about stuff that's relevant to what is new Terra Nochsta. Which it's probably about time I covered. Again, I like to sort of introduce you by seeing it first and then hearing about it, which is, I think, kind of cool way of doing it. I'm walking back and forth and I still don't know. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And hopefully we've progressed a little bit. Maybe done some work on that farm or founding another site, at least building a road further into the mainland. Who knows? Hopefully I'll have achieved something. So thanks for watching. It's about the 3rd time I've said that, but I really am thankful, you know. There's nothing more depressing than seeing no... I'm going to start ranting again, but I don't mind if, you know, only 3 or 4 people watch my videos. I don't really care. As long as someone's enjoying it, I don't mind. The problem is a lot of the time, no one is, and it's like, I'm making these videos for nobody. that stuff I do mind. I mean, not that I mind, I just feel like there's got to be someone that wants to watch that. But again, tiny channel, you know, if people want to watch Minecraft, there's a million other places they can do it. It's fair enough. I'm still lost. So goodbye. Tune in next time. Just see something. I'm terrible at outros. I know I've talked about that before, but now I'm not even really making progress on getting here. I'm walking back and forth. Is it here? No. Is it here? No. Is it there? No. Is it there? No. It's like when you're on the phone, you're just like, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. I don't want to press the button. I hang up on you. You hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And then when you do hang up, you're like, oh, I hung up. I want to tell you about how I hung up. Oh dear. Yeah, too many mobs. And not enough food. So, for reals this time. Goodbye. So long, my friends. Do 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 do. That was probably dreadfully out of time. This is a really awkward situation. And now it's frozen.